Hi everyone, it is Caitlin back again. It turns out that most of your future lecturers are on holiday this week except me. Anyways, I am going to continue the crime scene evidence series and expand on the blood evidence found on the table and on the floor directly behind the table. More specifically, I want to talk about bloodstain pattern analysis, also termed BPA. I should start by saying that this is an area that we will look at in first year, but isn't something that we investigate further in the degree. The reason for this will be explained at the end of this video. Bloodstain pattern analysis is simply the science behind the behaviour of blood. In violent crimes, a person will lose about 40% of their total blood volume before there is risk of death from blood loss. That equates to about 2 litres, and in BPA terms, a whole lot of evidence. Where do we begin? Well, there are 3 main types of patterns: splatter, there's droplets, and also transfer patterns. Each tells us something about that crime scene and the events that may have taken place. Prior to lockdown, I did a bloodstain pattern analysis tutorial with my students, during which I quite literally launched fake blood around a classroom, and I thought that some of the images taken would be useful for today's video. And yes, I did use a garden trowel because why not? Now in that image to the left, you will see an overview of some of the techniques tested. In the top left hand corner, there are some transfer patterns. This is when an individual moves the blood from one location to the other and can be used to trace movement and or corroborate or refute accounts. Towards the bottom of the image, we have some classic signs of blood splatter. The blood hits the surface with enough force that it continues to travel. Key things to look for is a contact point, where the blood hits the surface and then the projection of smaller droplets moving away from that contact point. In the last image to the right, we can see droplets or drip stains. This type of pattern only occurs when blood moves with gravity, and so gives us a really good indication of movement. If I remember correctly, I stood up on the tables with the trowel covered in fake blood and simply walked. Notice the 2 different types though, close together droplets and ones that are further apart. This is all to do with speed of movement. Based on this very short video about BPA, what information can we take away from the crime scene? Firstly, the pattern is droplets and indicates travel. You might consider that the injury occurred after the note had been written due to the lack of blood in the one area. Is it human or animal blood? It isn't easy to tell them apart visually, but look back to video 2 to find out. Additional information that we might be able to ascertain is that direction of travel, speed, and also the height of injury. But that's for another time and depends on the type of surface that the blood is on. I mentioned at the start that we don't expand on bloodstain pattern analysis further than first year, and the main reason is that it is a subjective form of science, meaning that everyone has their own interpretation. At GCU, we tend to focus on areas that are more objective and instrumental based. That is not to say that you can't become an expert in BPA one day, and if you're interested in reading more into it, have a look at the following cases where bloodstain pattern analysis was used to prove innocence, secure a conviction, or cause controversy.